in terms of youth and jobs. If you, get a job, become a person who's in gainful employment, then what next? For a lot of people, they say that they will take that money. Well, of course, they have their basic needs. They will put some of it in a bank. They will try to invest that money. But for most people, that is not necessarily a skill that they have developed. And for the Global Money Week, which is being celebrated here in Kenya from the 12th to the 18th of March, well, these skills are critical. Well, the Global Money Week, in conjunction with the Child and Youth Finance International Initiative, is an annual financial awareness campaign built to inspire children and young people to learn about money matters, livelihoods, and entrepreneurship. The commemoration is based on the fact that today's children and youth should become empowered economic citizens capable of understanding the importance of saving and being equipped with the skills to be employed and create their own livelihoods. Because we want young people to learn to manage their money wisely by empowering children and youth, and thus help them create a positive wave that will expand from themselves to their families and across entire communities. Well, to speak into this conversation, Albert Ngunjiri, he is from Heritage Insurance, the patron of the CSR, Mr. Musili Kivuitu, General Manager, Risk and Compliance, he is from Liberty Life, are here in studio to talk to us about just this very subject. Gentlemen, karibuni sana.
Asante sana. Thank you.
I think I'll start off with you, Musili, and the question that is on most people's minds is, in your assessment, do you think Kenyan youth are empowered when it comes to matters of finance? Are they able to manage their money wisely?
So let me probably answer that by taking you back to an RBA survey that was done about 8 years ago. And in the survey, they asked you to try and rank what are the most important things that they use their money for. And I think savings was number 8 on the list.
Yes.
It came in after entertainment. So they prefer to have, a glass of something rather than to put away money for the future. And what we found is a lot of youth is, because of the current cultural awareness that exists, where we want things to be done instantly. And there's instant gratification we look for. When the latest phone comes, we want to buy it. When people are getting clothes, we want to get the latest set of clothes that can be available. The culture of putting our money aside so that you can use it on another day doesn't exist. And that's why you see harambes always have to happen when somebody requires to do something significant. And so we do recognize that there is a cultural gap currently in youth being able to appreciate the importance of saving and being able to set money aside and use it wisely.
Albert, let's come to you. And the question then is, where did the rain start beating us? Because in the past, our forefathers and that sort of thing were taught rigorous savings, rigorous cash management strategies. For the youth today, this seems to be non-existent.
Thank you very much. I think, in my view, the rain started beating from that time that we started actually kind of losing our culture. That is one.
Yes.
And I think also our education programs. In my view, our education program does not actually cater for financial management. Yes, and I think those are two areas that we need to go back to our culture. Our culture, in the sense that yes, when we were growing up, there was that feeling that you needed to keep for a rainy day.
Yes.
Where did we lose that? Like Mr. Musili has just said, that going by that survey that was conducted by RBA, it looks like our youth actually have not really considered that as an important aspect. Yeah, so it is important that we go back to those attributes, and then probably we also focus on our education system, so that we get to understand the needs and the requirements of these right from our educational level. Yes.
Albert, I want to come back to you, and the fact of the matter is that these are the challenges that we face. We then need to sort of start to craft solutions that the youth themselves will embrace, because these are already people who are in this hole. A lot of them are no longer in, we'd say, school all the time. They might be in some sort of education system in the university, in evening classes, that sort of thing. how do we then start to bring back this ethos of saying that we will start to plan for our money, we will start to plan for our resources? And in fact, when we bring the conversation around the global money week, how does this then start to feed into that conversation?
Yeah, thank you very much. The way I would want to look at it is that probably, first of all, we need to see that we understand the challenges. What are these challenges that face our youth? There is the social economic challenges. And when I talk about social economic challenges, I want to focus on the social aspect of it. There is too much demand from now the current social demands and requirements.
Yes.
Yes, you have gotten a job, you have started working, you need to have this, you need to have that, you need to actually be seen to be one of those who are doing well.
So it is materialism.
Well, I didn't want to call it that, but basically that is driving us a bit to the extent that we are losing that other aspect. So that is from the aspect of the social part of it.
Yes.
From the economic point, you look at it from, I mean, what is the value of money?
Yes.
Is it as probably as worthwhile as it used to be? If you put the requirement of buying this pen now,
yes.
and when probably 30 years back, how much did you need to put in to buy a pen like this one? And how much do you need to put in?
Yes.
So the value of money. So those are challenges that our youth are facing, and probably we need to actually get back and educate them. How do you get to sorting out this? Yes.
Musili, let's bring you back into the conversation. The fact of the matter is, working for an insurance a group, so to say, you're in a place where you have products, you have solutions that are supposed to drive some of the challenges that we're talking about. Yet the uptake, if you look at for the different insurance products across the Kenyan economy, is below 3%, even less depending on who you ask. What then do we need to start to do to the youth? Because if the world of entertainment is forcing them to start going into alcohol, buying all the flashy things that we see, how then do we start to get into that space that tells them you need to start consuming these products because they're for your own good into the future?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. If you look at it, Liberty Life, we aspire to give financial freedom as part of our strategy as we go forward. And that financial freedom, we target both the parents as well as the children. The products that we mainly try and position are saving products that allow both the parents and the children to put away some money.
Yes.
And we encourage them to aim at about 20% of what they're earning, because that would actually be able to assist them in plans of future investments or future activities that they would want to go into.
Yes.
And we have structured programs either through our corporate social investment initiatives, which target especially high schoolers. Those are the main areas that we go into schools.
Catching them early.
That's right. And we say, and just like the Bible says, what you teach your child is what they grow up into. Whereas the African proverb of how you train a child and grow them is how their community itself will begin to grow.
Yes.
And so our intention is to specifically try and find opportunities to keep talking with these children and keep encouraging them to start a savings culture. Now that savings culture for us is through the products we give around education and around saving for any future event that could actually happen.
Yes.
And what we've tried to structure it for the parents is mainly through our network of agents. We have probably close to about 400 or 500 agents across the country. And when they go and talk with parents, they actually do financial literacy, which means just try and get the parents to understand the importance of understanding from their incomes, what are your assets and liabilities, and how do you manage between your fixed costs, variable costs, or in essence, a bit of budgeting. But the whole idea is to try and encourage them to keep putting aside money that they can use for the future.
Yes, Albert, very quickly. CSR plays a major role in financial education, especially seeing as that while it is the role of educators, other stakeholders like parents, government, others in the environment to be able to bring this, it is becoming more and more important for companies, employers, corporates to ensure that the people they employ and others have these skills, because if they don't, then these are the same people who will come and demand for increased pay, hop from job to job, increased costs at the workplace and that sort of thing. What role do you think for people like you who are sitting in this place where you see you're driving the CSR agenda are playing in driving this?
Yeah, at Heritage, We are doing it very well.
Yes.
Because we have a very elaborate program,
yes.
which has been in place for the last now going to 12 years.
Wow.
And actually cutting across the whole country.
Yes.
And basically what we are doing is that we actually start training our youth, particularly those ones from high school,
yes.
from secondary school up to university level. Mm-hmm. So we actually engage, bring them on, and this is cutting across all the counties.
Yes.
So that we are able actually to take them through, not just on the fee basis,
yes.
Taking care of their fee, mm-hmm. and showing them that over and above the aspect of looking for money to pay for your fees,
yes.
there is also other needs that you could put into your money. So what we do is that we organize them,
yes.
with mentorship, we mentor them through mentorship programs,
yes.
that cuts across all expectations of growing up a youth, mm-hmm. and of course emphasizing, yes. on the aspect of financial management.
Okay.
Yes.
Musili, in 30 seconds, because we're out of time, the role of innovation in everything that we're talking about, and the fact that going into the future, this then becomes more important in terms of providing solutions that are relevant to the people that we're talking about and providing access.
So technology changes that are happening within environments are at a very fast pace currently.
Yes.
And I agree with you. The ones who are able to innovate and find themselves leading the pack are the ones who will be able to provide solutions of the future. Mm-hmm. And we've put in place as Liberty and the wider group initiatives that actually target that. Mm-hmm. And we're looking at what can we do even with the youth themselves.
Yes.
And we're actually looking at products that we can position to youth to allow them now to have the culture of saving. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. We're competing also against what we call non-traditional people.
Yes.
Your cryptocurrencies that are coming up, your Safaricoms that are also using up a lot of the youth finances that they have.
Yes.
And we're trying to see how best can we actually do it, okay. even with that kind of landscape.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, gentlemen, we are out of time, but interesting conversation that we should take into the future, the fact that for a lot of people, the seeds that they plant today, those will be the trees that whose shade they sit under in 10, 15, 20 years in their retirement and into the future. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us, Albert Ngojiru from Heritage and Musili Kivuitu from Liberty Life. Asante sana.
Thank you very much,
Peter.
Okay, indeed. On that interesting and innovative note, we want to bring it to a close here on KTN Business Today. It has indeed been a pleasure trying to speak into the financial education conversation. Of course, the interview you had earlier about jobs. Of course, you can find us here again tomorrow at the same time with much more insightful conversation around such topics. Coming up in just a few minutes is the Swahili news from Mbiu. Well, we want to bring it to a close here. My name is Peter Akaba, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Do continue to enjoy your viewing. Go ahead.